Still coughing.
And we're live. Phillip Tarrant, Tom Panos, Real Estate Exposed. ARIC edition. Tom Panos has been out and about. He's been probably done talking, I would imagine. He's been chatting all day Sunday and Monday, talking to the A-list celebrities from all over the world, trying to understand what's happening in real estate and interpreting their life experiences and what they do for lessons for real estate agents. Tom, 10 out of 10 for ARIC 2022?
Yeah, it is a 10. It was the best ARIC, and that'll come through when the surveys get tabulated, but the anecdotal surveys are clearly showing it. So, Phil, you're in the events business, right? And you put on events, and you know that generally speaking, you don't get every speaker that is impeccable. I'm not saying you get duds, but you get a few people that are a lot lower than the others, a specific session. Not this ARIC. This was a high standard. And the other thing it was addressing the current needs of the market, which is effective business units, headwinds coming, vendor management, technology. Phil, just to give you some facts, the event was sold out and there was hundreds and hundreds, not 100, hundreds and hundreds on wait list, people scalping tickets. And it was a good event. And it was quite draining for me because I MC, I speak myself, I do every interview, and you got to hurt. You're herding cats, if you know what I mean, to do it. And then, as you can see, we get comments coming through there. It's not me making it up. People, it was a very good event, Phil. Very good event. You know.
That's good. Well, it's important, you know, in environments like this when markets are in a state of flux and there's still a big question mark, a lot of uncertainty about what will happen, and therefore the role of agents in it. It's when content like that is most relevant. Tom, let's do 5 quick fire questions. Tom, let's get through them really quickly. Favorite speaker?
The magician at the end, called Vin, was very good. Matthew Mcconaughey, who was under testing circumstances the day before or the 3 days before the shooting in Texas. And I can't pronounce exactly the name of.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah. So everyone, by the way, Phil Tarrant is at an airport and he's using a room at an airport. And that's why he probably just spoke to someone there. But Matthew Mcconaughey, Phil, it was a distraught time for him because those shootings happened in his hometown, and his hometown's a small town, and he was quite devastated. And anyone that knows Matthew Mcconaughey, he's, unlike many actors, he's like devoted Christian, family man, talks a lot about parenting. He was quite distraught, and it was reported that the speaker's fees got, which was significant, I must say, but I'm not allowed to say what it is, was donated to the families of kids that were involved in the murders. I don't know exactly what charity, but he was good. I thought Seth Godin was outstanding, talking about marketing. I thought he was very, very good. Mel Robbins was a favorite from everyone. She's the one that has written the book 54321 or Blast Off. I can't remember it. Yeah. So
what second question? Best idea for real estate agents you heard during ARIC?
You're not looking for prospects, you're looking for students. I thought it was profound from Seth Godin. So it basically says when you change the tone of, hey, I'm prospecting for students, you start becoming an educator. You start becoming a trusted advisor. You have a different approach. You'll normally let go of commission breath and you'll move into value-added providing, showing more, doing more, giving more. I think that was probably, to me, a profound one. You're not looking for prospects. You're looking for students.
Best new product that you saw in the expo, Tom?
I'm biased. I will pick the ones that I'm aligned to, but look, Podium. I didn't. So Phil, it's wrong for me. I mean, I don't go circulating around the expo. I'm under the pump doing other stuff, right? So I'm not circulating around the expo. But one thing is for sure, Podium, which is a text messaging and consumer review platform that is 20% owned by Google, and I think they are, or have advertised, or most people do advertise with you guys. They were very strong and they're very prominent, and they were handing out the best 15 text messages that you can be using in real estate, which was a good value add. So they've collected the best text messages that are sent out by real estate agents to buyers, sellers, prospective clients. And yeah.
How many years have you been doing ARIC for now, Tom? It's got to be at least 10.
So I spoke in 2006, I spoke in 2010. And then I spoke in 2012, and I've emceed and either spoken since 2012 to 2022. So that's 10 years of MC.
And have real estate agents changed much in those 10 years? What's different?
They look younger.
Okay. Maybe you just look older.
Well, I'm looking older. They dress different. They've pushed up their dress code. But if you
they dress better than what they did 10 years ago.
They dress better. They just seem to wear, they seem to spend more on their wardrobe. So I'd say that. I think, but Phil, if you were to ask me, like realistically, if I got my 2012 presentation out at ARIC, and you know what? I might actually put it on social media. If I put out my 2012 presentation out at ARIC, you would probably find it would be equal of value as if I was doing it yesterday. So the truth of the matter is, yes, there is new products. There is new technology. The market might be different, but there's about 6-7 things that don't change. Buyer management, vendor management, prospecting, building your personal brand, getting your shit together and being organized, and somehow having the ability to concentrate on the most important thing, not the most popular thing. That hasn't changed in real estate. I think the one big change, Phil, is teams. The shift to teams, and the shift to super teams, and the shift to skills and division of labor, right? So what you're sort of seeing is that the pilot doesn't serve drinks on the plane, if you know what I mean. The real estate agent lists, sells, and negotiates. The buyer manager takes buyers out. The admin person is sitting there doing the grunt work, getting all the paperwork and marketing processed. I think that's probably the biggest change. And what you've seen is because of the divisions of labor and the super teams happening, we're now beginning to see real estate agents write a lot more money than before.
And is that your concept, super teams in real estate? Or
I didn't come up with it. I mean, in the USA, they've been a step ahead of us with teams. And I'm laughing at Luke Moroney's. He's got socks or no socks for you. So no socks.
Well, that's a big question. It is real estate exposed.
Yeah.
Should real estate agents be wearing socks? Is the question of the day.
There was only one speaker not wearing socks, and he's a good guy. Don't know. Are you a no sock look man? Do you wear the no sock looks?
No, I can't. No, I'm pretty traditional. I can't even wear jeans and a blazer. I look a bit weird. So if I'm going to wear a suit, I'll wear a suit with socks. I've essentially got 2 wardrobes. I've got a suit. 3 wardrobes. A suit, sort of casual, a pair of jeans and maybe jacket. And then for those of you that see me on the weekend, you probably wouldn't recognize me. I've just a pair of shorts and thongs is my bit.
In the winter too? You wear shorts in the winter?
In the winter, or never change. If I'm not working, I'm in a pair of shorts and thongs. It's the way I roll, Tom.
Yeah, look, I mean, the whole non-sock look, there's Lisa, the whole non-sock look started as a bit of a joke when I said a few years ago, where are all the guys that don't wear socks? They've left real estate, trying to sort of suggest that they were spending more time worrying about how they look than actually listing and selling houses. But listen, just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. One thing, Phil, talking about dress code, the one thing that has definitely changed in those 10 or 12 years is I said people are sharper, but they're less formal. So ties are out. No question about it. Ties are out. Very rarely now are you seeing ties apart from the big auction day. So you normally see people wearing nice shirts, maybe a jacket, chinos. Everyone loves chinos and RM Williams, obsessed with it. Then there's a group of agents on the Gold Coast, very good office. REB is one of their best, which is Michael Kaloshi. They love wearing blue chinos with white tennis shoes or white, what do you call the white shoe look?
Yeah, pimp soles or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
isn't that Gold Coast in a nutshell, mate? The White Shoe Brigade is what they used to call them, getting around there selling condos.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. You look at the agents on the Gold Coast, and they wear. Look, it's better than the white shoe look the old brigade had on the Gold Coast, but these guys are wearing tailored, slim, flat pants, chinos, white shoes, a nice V-neck T-shirt, a navy blue jacket, and they walk around Broadbeach, relaxed, meeting the current environment. So, yeah, I feel. Can I ask you, if you and your partner were selling your home, right? One agent comes in, chinos, nice jacket, RM Williams. Another one comes in with a nice suit, very professional, cufflinks, nice tie. Does dress code impact at all the decision?
It's a good question. I think there will be an initial reaction to how they're dressed, and you might not process that in a way which is directly aligned. Am I going to choose this person or not? But I think as soon as someone opens their mouth and how they connect with you, what they're wearing starts to become a lot less relevant. So, there's a huge half-life on dress. You can be dressed impeccably, but if you don't warm to someone at a listing presentation, it doesn't matter what they're wearing. And it's tough, but you talk about personal branding a lot, Tom, and it's absolutely key. What you look like is what you expect. Someone to see in you and potentially a measure of your professionalism. So it's really difficult. I don't know the answer. If someone rocked up in board shorts and a T-shirt, I might go, they don't seem too serious about winning this work from me, this listing. I think it would have to be, I reckon a good agent will probably work out pretty quickly before they go and meet with someone, the type of person that they're meeting with, and you should dress appropriately to that. That's what I do for a living. I always try and dress appropriately to the market that I'm operating within. So a smart agent should do the same. But how do you work that out, Tom, over the phone? How do you work out if you're going to present to Mr. and Mrs. Tarrant what sort of person we were, what sort of person we are, and therefore what I should wear? And I reckon that's pretty important. You should match the dress to the person.
Well, I think, firstly, Phil, if you're in a marketplace, there's an underlying norm in that marketplace. For instance, I would suggest if you're in Wagga Wagga, you wouldn't be wearing a Hugo Boss suit and a vest and a tie, right? Gav Rubenstein, I have to say, does dress up. He occasionally wears the white sneaker look, but a lot of the time I see him, he's impeccably dressed. 3-piece suit with his tie, wearing, beautiful black leather shoes. But I think what's interesting, Phil, is that you've made a very good point. You're sort of saying you get these first 20 seconds where an impression is made, and then that impression sort of gets diluted a little bit when you start speaking. So then it makes me think is, what if you've got a great first impression and you've got a great story, a great pitch, great connection skills? Does 2 beat 1? And I think the easiest thing probably is to overdress than to underdress. And I know myself, Phil, if I walk in to a cafe that I'm not a regular at and I'm dressed very average. I notice the response of people, and I also notice a response of people if I walk in wearing a three-piece suit. And I think people treat you better. I know that sounds terrible to say that, but I think what happens is they'll be more responsive. They might get to you faster. They'll be more aware of you. And I think that's the way we are as people. I'm not being judgmental, but this is what it feels like. And I'll never forget Shad Hassan said to me, he'd walked into a cafe one day and he got treated very poorly. And then he walked into the same cafe, dressed up for work the other day, and he got treated differently. And he said to me, I'm convinced that the way you present is the way people perceive you.
I completely agree with that. And I must admit, when I wear a suit, I get called sir a lot more than not wearing a suit. It's funny. And it's just, this register, you learn it from a young age around, the visibility of the appeal of what you project is how people typically respond to you. And I must admit, and Lisa made a really good point there. We've been very sort of male heavy in this discussion around dress. I'd point out is that by and large, every single female real estate agent I've ever met is always impeccably dressed, projecting what you would expect a real estate agent should be looking. And it's as relevant for the guys as what it is the girls, Tom. Probably more so for the girls because girls are probably a little bit more, ladies probably a lot more in tune with style and dress sense than us sort of Luddite blokes who typically don't take too much of a notice.
Now, Phil,
that's a raging generalisation, by the way, but that's yeah.
Moving on to week 2 of Anthony Albanese's new job. So his second week in the job. During the week, he announced his team.
Yeah.
Not a bad start, Phil, with Albanese. Like hasn't done much wrong, and the media hasn't really had much to say negatively about it.
No, I think it's a good observation. I was actually chatting to a political staffer in the Liberal government who was losing his job just yesterday, and he had exactly the same observation: is that they've come out of the blocks pretty strong. First thing he did was jump on a plane up to the Quad meeting with Penny Wong, the Foreign Minister. Did a pretty good job up there on all accounts. Represented Australia well. Flew back. I think the Foreign Minister Penny Wong was straight out to the Pacific. Straight after that, buttressing up some of our relationships with our Pacific neighbours. Back here, he's announced his team. He's put some well-known and well-regarded people into senior positions. I think of Richard Miles there, back into the defence portfolio, and also deputy leader. He's got a really good balance, I think, in terms of diversity with his senior leadership, and by diversity I mean both gender and also is very reflective of multicultural Australia, a lot more than other cabinets being formed in the past. So media seems pretty friendly to him. We've got to remember this is a bit of a honeymoon period where it's all good announcements from here. We're building the team out, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. Fast forward 6 to 12 months when he's in the business of government, it's going to be beyond that honeymoon period, and we'll see how those how they fare. But mate, if you look at his scorecard, he'd be doing pretty well at the moment.
So Phil, good question from Luke Moroney. Tuesday's the day. Reserve Bank meets. What's your tip? Firstly, rates going to go up?
Mate, they might give a reprieve this month, and look, I think maybe a month or two's time. I haven't read too much around what the economists are saying at the moment in relation to rate rises. They went pretty hard straight off the bat, and I think they'd probably put jitters into a lot of people if they did another rate hike straight away. I'd say maybe not this coming Tuesday, but I'd be expecting one pretty soon after. July or August potentially. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I know that they're going to be going up, and they're going to go up more than once. I don't know whether this is going to be a month that they're going to do it, or whether they want to see whether the impact of the last rate rise has actually created any impact that they wanted. I mean, all the reports that we're reading this week about real estate prices is we are now seeing clear declines in Sydney, clear declines in Melbourne, clear declines in Hobart. Surprisingly, Brisbane is still okay. Adelaide is still okay. In fact, they had growth, and Perth is going gangbusters. There's nothing to indicate there. So we are talking about having multiple markets in the real estate market, but it's becoming very, very clear that Sydney and Melbourne, particularly Sydney, big declines this year in the inner west and in the northern beaches.
Yeah. And I think you're going to see that moving forward. I heard a term just yesterday, Tom. I don't know if you're across it yet. And I went, oh, okay. I went, I don't understand that, but tell me about it. Stagflation. Have you heard of stagflation yet?
No, I haven't heard it. Share with us.
Stagflation. So essentially, and this goes back to the new government. And we spoke about it running up into the election, how irrespective of who actually wins government, they're going to be the custodians of a challenging period moving forward with a rising inflation, the cost of living. This goes back to whether or not they raise rates on Tuesday. Stagflation is this concept of rising inflation but stagnate wage growth. So it's got to be even more challenging for Australians to weather an environment where costs are going up, but you don't have the relevant increase or the reciprocal increase in wages. So this is a big thing of concern at the moment. If you do have inflation, you expect some wage growth, and they're not really seeing the wage growth and whether or not the wage growth will come. So stagflation, which means it's just Australians are going to have less money in their back pockets until there is a level of normalisation in supply chain markets to try and remove some of these increases in the cost of living. So stagflation, Tom.
Okay, great new term.
I'd like to know, and maybe this is something REB can do if people are interested. Just what is the upwards pressure like on real estate principals around their salaried staff now? You talk about super teams. You have probably a sales agent who leads that, and by and large the lion's share, if they're a sole operator, absolutely, but if they're part of a group, will be from commission. But he's got to pay out salaried staff, right? I'd like to know what sort of pressure there is on wage growth to those administrative assistants or marketing professionals, or those non-sales related team members who receive commission. I don't know, but I imagine it's pretty rampant.
Yeah, I think a lot of the industry field would be probably remunerated at above award, and particularly when we talk about sales and business development, that's totally dependent on what they produce. But there are other roles that very early entry basic roles that they've got in as admin people in businesses that would fall under that category. And I've got to tell you, it is an issue. I've sat down. I was in New Zealand last week, and they've got some of the biggest businesses in Australasia. Sometimes 100 salespeople, 80 salespeople. So you've got really smart operators that run big corporations. And when I've had conversations with them, with 1, 2, 4 of these people, they've all come up basically with the same number back to me, and they're saying we're forecasting 20 to 25% less revenue next financial year than this year. And I said to them, don't you think that's a little bit aggressive? And they said, no, because I think you've got to be practical when you run a business and set targets. So unless you've got a strategy that's going to shift market share in a short period of time from a competitor, you're basically in the marketplace where there could be lower volumes. And volumes are volumes. Like, you can't put a gun to someone's head and say, sell your home because we're 20% under volume, right? You basically can only get what comes onto the market. So people are beginning to, look at their businesses and looking at cash. And as they say, Phil, leftover is more important than turnover. So I think I can't remember who it is. I think it's Manos from eView that says volume is vanity, profit is sanity.
Yeah.
And it's so important.
It is important. Well, on behalf of the industry, Tom, thanks for the great work that you put in at ARIC. I know you've got a whole bunch of people and comments coming through appreciative of what is a 2 full days there. And I think the industry's fortunate it's got someone like you that can pull out these gems of information from a sector and give it, interpretation for real estate. I'd conclude with this last question, Tom. Who was the best real estate agent speaker you had on stage? Who do you think was most relevant for the audience and what they spoke about?
Sam Rigopoulos was good. Jason Adcock was good. Hannon Corley was good. Carla Freda was good. I'm going to go through them all. I'm not going to, they're watching every bit of social media content I'm putting out at the moment because they've been part of it. I've already missed, people. Kathy Cattell was great. They're all, listen, I've missed people there. They were all very good because they stuck to their. I hate it when a real estate agent decides they want to become Anthony Robbins. So what happens is they get up on stage and they start giving people a lesson on attitude when really they're there to actually talk about what they do. How do you list? How do you sell? Give us some of your backroom techniques that we can't see. They don't like being lectured on personal development from a real estate agent.
Fair enough. There you go.
Now, Phil, where are you heading off to?
Heading back to Sydney. I'm in Melbourne.
You're in Melbourne. How cold is it there?
Mate, it was chilly yesterday. I'll tell you that. It was. I was looking out over my hotel room, looking out over the river there, and I felt like I was in Eastern Europe, mate. It was bleak. Today is the last day of the Better Business Summit for the mortgage industry with the advisor. So presenting last, so that's the 5th installment of the roadshow. You've done it before, Tom. Mate, all done. Big turnout.
So that's done. That's all finished now.
Yep, that's 5 states. Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide. So heading back to Sydney. So,
well, that's good. There's a fair bit of travel there. I can just picture what you've been going through because I did it a few times with you. Come back to Sydney, chill out, get in front of your computer, catch up with all the sort of stuff that you need to do running the big business that you do. And we look forward to. I'm really looking forward to this Saturday's auctions.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, mate. I think this will be as we start to get this more normal environment now with it's moving into winter anyway, which has seasonally it's there's certain ways it plays out in real estate, but the government getting its feet under the desk. There's a lot of the excuses for people not to buy or sell are largely behind us, except for things getting more expensive. So, Tom, what do you reckon? 80%, 70% clearance rate?
No, but I have it won't be 80%, 70% because it's been a lot lower lately. But Phil, I got a funny feeling that it's going to be better than what it has been. Okay. And the reason I say it is I think we're moving into a period where there's vendor acceptance at the new levels. It takes a bit of time because what's happening, Phil, in the early stages, vendors are saying, but that one sold for 1.5. How can mine not get 1.5? And then what happens is as more transactions take place and you've got a bigger sample size to say, oh, hang on a second, that's the new market, vendors accept what the market gives them. And because vendor accepts what the market gives them, we get a higher clearance rate. Because part of the problem with clearance rates at the moment is vendors are not taking the offers being given to them in the marketplace.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. And there's the skill of the real estate agent in this current market is making sure that vendor acceptance of where the price will be. That's how you facilitate volume. Expectations that aren't realistic, which just stifles the market, slows everything down. So be a good agent.
Be a good agent. Do the right stuff. Do the work. Tell the truth. Tell the damn truth.
Tell the
All
truth.
right.
Do the work. Good one, Tom. And look, please send questions through. The best way is probably to Tom. Tom, best email address for anyone to send any questions through to, so we can answer next week.
info@tompanos.com.au.
Pretty easy. Do that. We'll do a Q&A episode. I'll ask Tom. We'll work it all out. But thanks for joining us, everyone. Tom, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot, Phil.